So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
Joe Biden, he's the man with the Biden touch, a creepy touch.
Well, after 62 days, the President of the United States, Joe-Bama Biden, finally held a press conference. You know, even CNN started to get concerned. This president talked about transparency on the campaign trail and in his inaugural address, and yet he's cut us off from the border. He doesn't come talk to us. What's going on? And then it happened. It was finally announced he would hold this press conference Thursday afternoon, and I have to tell you, I didn't waste 30 seconds talking about it on my Thursday radio show. Why? Because it was exactly what I knew it was going to be. On the one hand, the bar was set so low that if you could just stand there for about 15, 20 minutes and remotely sound, alert and awake, and they dump enough Prevagen into him, he could probably kind of pull it off, and it would be seen as the greatest press conference in the history of press conferences. Remember, it wasn't all that long ago that he took the oath of office and gave an inaugural address that Faux Pas News, formerly known as Fox News' Chris Wallace said, quote, "It was the greatest inaugural address he's ever heard, and he's been covering them since Kennedy." Really? That mumbling, bumbling, Corn Pop's best friend Joe Biden's inaugural address was better than ask not what your country can do for you, but rather ask what you can do for your country? It was better than Ronald Reagan's The City on a Hill. It was better than Obama himself. You're kidding me, right? But then again, the media was asking fawning questions like, "Mr. President, it's just so wonderful that we finally have a man of moral integrity back in the White House." Moral integrity. Moral integrity. Let's see. The guy was responsible single-handedly because he rifled it through when he was a senator and got the entire Democratic establishment on board with it, and even a bunch of Republicans, to basically be singly responsible for the incarceration of how many black people in this country? He made how much money from his Beijing connection through his cash mule son, dimwit? Moral integrity? Come on, man. Well, I knew what it was going to be. I even heard some conservative talk show hosts, in fact, one of the umpteen that they've got filling in on what I now call the Best of Rush Limbaugh show, which is kind of a neat idea where they interweave things that Rush said years ago and how it's still relevant today. But yeah, okay. And even the guest host, I don't know who it was, said something to the effect of, well, Joe Biden is finally going to have to pull on his big boy pants and answer some real questions. And I'm like, you're kidding me, right? You really think they're going to ask him real questions? And if you heard the White House, I mean, it was just like they were getting him all ready, his teeth brushed and his hair combed, and it was like, sending a kid off to kindergarten.
I felt just like a mother, sending her kid off to school for the first time. Watching the little feller toddling off in his best bib and tucker, hoping he can stand up to the other kids.
Well, how did he do?
So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, we're going to get a lot done. And if we have to, if there's complete lockdown and chaos as a consequence of the filibuster, then we'll have to go beyond what I'm talking about. Okay, hang on. Sorry. Oh, Singman, Miss Kim.
What? Biden losing his train of thought? Say it ain't so. Especially when he had some help. That's right. Cheat sheets so he could stay on point. Even a picture directory so he would know which reporters to call on and which reporters, like Peter Doocy from Faux Pas News, formerly known as Fox News, not to call on. There is one thing I am mildly shocked and surprised by. To be honest, the reason I didn't waste any time talking about it on my radio show was I just assumed the questions would have to be pre-submitted and he would just read answers off a teleprompter or the earpiece. Yes, the famous earpiece where he is literally given the answers and then he just tries to mouth it. But apparently they knew that he was in friendly water, and so they let him ramble. And the reason I'm not going to break down this entire press conference, and I know others are, and that's great, I don't have the time nor the energy. I am a staff of one. And for what point? For what point? He lied. And somebody brought up an interesting question to me tonight. Did he really lie, or does he really just not know what's going on because he's really not running the country? Ooh. Now, he was asked, are you going to run again? Okay, we're not even 90 days, 3 months into this first leg of his first 4-year term, and they want to know if, when he's 82 if he's going to run. Again, we watched him mid-sentence stop talking, completely lost his place, didn't know what to do. He's obviously been taught a few tricks how to kind of try to bring himself back. And I don't say this mockingly. I detest Joe Biden's politics. But as a pastor, I care about him as a person. I lost a mother to Alzheimer's, and it really is the long goodbye. I lost a father a year later who was flirting with dementia. He was not as bad as my mother, but it was definite mental, cognitive decline. And my dad was one of the most brilliant men that I ever knew. Incredible amateur historian. He was a photographer extraordinaire. So challenged the gun laws of New York under the Mario Cuomo administration, he became a licensed gunsmith and gun dealer in the state of New York, which at that time had the strictest gun control laws in the land. This was I learned my political backbone and courage from my dad. And to watch him decline, to watch him try to leave the house not completely dressed because something got on his mind that he had to go take care of right then. Said, Dad, stop. Where's the Biden family? I mean, I know that they pimp each other out for financial purposes. That's why Hunter's been given a pass to cover for the big guy as he fleeced China and then ran the money through Dad. And, he got some to live on and, keep his kimono and, his underage sexcapades. Is the family really this addicted to power and the prestige and the personage of being president that they just... You talk about age abuse, elder abuse. And I'm serious about that. And I can't really break this down. I mean, I know Lindsey Graham, today he decided to be a conservative. And then, tomorrow he'll be a rhino again. And, you want to thank John Kasich and Witness Protection Romney and the rest of the rhinos that basically let it be known they would be voting for Joe Biden so we could bring civility back to the country. Really. Everything that Trump fixed is broken. What was the point of asking about the border crisis? He can't acknowledge there is one, and I don't know that he's lying. How does he know? Has he been there? Is he following any of this? Donald Trump, who slept on an average of 4 hours a night, You have Joe Biden that they can barely keep awake 4 hours a day. And now he's put Kamala, thinks she's a hottie Harris, in charge of the border crisis. Allow me to make that famous quote again. Come on, man.
How dare you?
Stuff it, Greta. Let me tell you what the most dangerous aspect of the Biden administration is, and I'm very serious about this. President Donald Trump, and again, I have to be careful how I word this or, the video will get pulled. We understand that there were a lot of, shall we say, difficulties with the 2020 election and how things went down. I think it's an understatement to say that President Trump spent 4 years not simply fighting the media and all the Russian collusion, and fighting the Democrats, never wanting to get on board with anything that he wanted to do for the American people. But he also fought his own party. But it wasn't just the fighting of his own party. He was fighting a political system, which the one thing that the ruling Democrats and the ruling Republicans agree on, it's a club. And if you ain't part of the club, they don't want you there, period. And somehow in 2016, there was this fluke that happened, and we the people actually got their guy. And the ruling class, the ruling elite, the oligarch decided, can't let that happen again. Now, for years, for decades, and I have said this right along, that there's not a nickel's worth of difference between career Democrats and career Republicans. Oh, they will come out on the TV talk shows and the news channels, and they will pretend to debate and go back and forth with one another. But when the cameras go off, they're going to the same bars, they're going to the same cocktail parties, they're in each other's social circles. It's not about left versus right, it's about right versus wrong. It's not about Democrat versus Republican, conservative versus liberal. It's about us versus them, the ruling class. And the ruling class decided we can't have another one of these Lone Ranger, really, the American ideal of an independent. Can't have it. That's why Bernie got crushed on the left. Can't have it. The ruling class, they circle the wagons. They protect the party. They protect the club. And what's really dangerous now that the ruling class has figured out, and you know that there's got to be a part of them that they're like, can you believe that we basically have elected and put into office an empty suit? Because again, the decisions that we keep saying, I can't believe Biden has done this and Biden has done that, and in 50 days he has, destroyed America, and in 60 days, look at what's happening. Gas prices are going up, jobs are being lost. Why, one of the things that came out of Biden's mouth today, and not one reporter fact-checked him, we have to raise every road and highway in America 3 feet because of global warming. And that's how he's going to take care of giving all these out-of-work pipeline workers jobs. They can start rebuilding we got to rebuild all of our infrastructure. And of course, if you raise the roads 3 feet, now you got to go through and you got to raise every overpass 3 feet, because once you raise them 3 feet this way, now the trucks can't clear and go under the underpass. Those got to be all raised. And of course, these jobs are ready to start tomorrow. Oh no, they're not. And again, where's the science that says all of our roads are sinking? Oh, they'll find somebody, the equivalent to another Dr. Fauci, to quick throw something on an official piece of letterhead saying, we have science that says roads are sinking. It's not funny. I understand the frustration. It's not funny. But he doesn't get fact check on any of that nonsense. He can't acknowledge there's a crisis at the border. I mean, this is what we're dealing with. And we know that he's not really making these decisions himself. There are people pulling the strings. And now, the only prerequisite to be president, can you at least stand there and look like a 3D hologram? All we need you for is to just kind of once in a while stand before the TV cameras, read this carefully prepared speech, don't stray, don't go off in la la land. We'll take care of the actual running of the country. This is where we're at now. This is what we're dealing with. So no, I didn't waste any time or energy watching the press conference in its entirety, and I'm certainly not going to sit here and give that mental breakdown any validation by breaking down what he said and discussing it ad nauseum and explaining where he was wrong on this, wrong on that. And the whole thing was just a joke, a pathetic joke. He loses his place and he mentally wanders off. Now, again, take a look at this.
So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
If you had an elder parent who acted like that, you wouldn't let them get behind the wheel and drive to the grocery store by themselves. You would want, at the bare minimum, if you didn't put them in an assisted living facility, you would make sure that somebody stopped by to take care of them and look after them every day. And now we have somebody like this in the Oval Office, the most powerful position in the world, the presidency of the United States. But you know what makes it okay? He's not really doing or running anything. He's just the image for the camera. He could be a mannequin at this point. Hey, that's it for this rant. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. Thank you. I have been reading your comments. Yes, YouTube is really, really, really suppressing our algorithm. Please make sure that you copy and paste the URL for this video to any social media platform you have. Drive people here. I need your help. Subscription to my channel is free. I don't hit you up with Patreon donations. I don't come on here and try to sell you anything. All I ask you to do is help me spread the word that we're here.